Well, you might care. No one else. No one will care about your camera settings except you. And I will explain why in this video. To explain this, I'm going to show you some of my pictures. But before that, only 4% of you that watches my videos actually subscribe to my channel. So if you want to help me out, please hit that subscribe button. I mean, it's free. Thank you. I got the idea for this video after I received some comments on my previous video where I asked, do we really need fast lenses anymore? And I showcased the new lens blur feature in Lightroom. And some of the comments were of course correct that you might need a fast lens if you also need a fast shutter speed. If you're shooting birds at 1/2000th of a second, maybe you need a fast lens to keep the ISO in a human level. Some comments were also, yeah, if you like cheating, well, no one cares if you cheat or not. Maybe you do, but the viewer or I don't care at all. 99.99999%, maybe a couple of more nines, of the people that watches your photographs doesn't care if you have cheated or not. They don't. They only care, including me, about the result. I'm not saying that camera settings are not important, but they are only important for us that takes the photo, not for the viewer at all. And as I said, I'm going to show you some pictures. I have 4 of them, and I want to challenge you to see if you can see what camera settings they were taken with. The first picture with the fox, it's not my favorite picture, but it's a good real-life story picture. I was on my way home from a gig on a ski resort. I work as a musician when I saw this fox running across the road and stopping on the other side of the road. So I stopped my car. I had my camera in a bag on the passenger seat, so I just grabbed it, went out of the car and managed to take a couple of pictures before the fox ran away. The settings were quite good actually. It was f2.8, 1/400th of a second, ISO 160. But that was pure luck because I didn't have time to change any settings because I only had a couple of seconds to take the shot. This was taken with the Sony a6100 APS-C camera and the Tamron 17-70 lens. The second picture, the silhouette picture from Smögen on the west coast of Sweden. I saw these kids climbing the stairs to this jumping tower and I just grabbed my camera from my bag and took a picture. The camera at the time was this. This is the Sony RX100 Mark II. An old, I think I bought it 2014. But still good camera for being a point-and-shoot camera. But it's a small sensor and it was evening, so the light wasn't that good. And the settings are off the chart. They couldn't have been worse. This is taken at 1/800th of a second, f9 and ISO 1600 on a point-and-shoot camera. This shouldn't work. But the picture is beautiful. One of my favorite pictures actually. Why? Because the subject is good, the colors are great, the location is great. The camera settings doesn't mean anything for the final result. The third picture was taken in Thailand 2007 with the Pentax Optio W20. A camera I can't even remember that I had. It had the huge amount of 7.2 megapixels. A 400th of a second, f3.5 and ISO 64. It was a bright day. And I remember a little bit that camera sucked. That was an awful camera. But this picture tells a story, which makes it, for me, a good picture. The fourth and final picture, the panorama of the amphitheater in Doha, Qatar. That was taken with an iPhone. And now you're thinking, yeah, well, the iPhone 13, 14, 15, they are really, really good cameras. Yeah, but this was taken with an iPhone 6. that didn't even have a panorama function. So I had to take multiple pictures and then stitch them together. Of course, we should try to get the camera settings right for the photograph and choose the right lens. But for the viewer, it doesn't matter if it's a pro or an amateur, a photographer or not. For the viewer, the result is the only thing that matters. I want to end with a quote from a friend of mine that is a professional underwater photographer, a really skilled one as well, Magnus. He's at another level. He has pages in National Geographic and stuff like that. I like to scuba dive. I have an underwater housing for this RX100, trying to take pictures underwater as well. But his pictures are ridiculous. And there are sharks and whales and other animals underwater. And when people ask him, how do you take these marvelous pictures? What are your camera settings? What strobes do you use? He answers, well, I was there.